So for today's test drive, I'm going to be checking the autopilot out on city streets. So we're starting out at our house and driving around the mall. Then I'll be taking the highway for just a little bit. I'll be exiting and following some side roads until I get to downtown Eau Claire. Our destination is the Pablo Center, and we're going to use it as a test. So I will enable autopilot right here. This video is actually checking the 10.6.1 full self-driving beta release. Car handled the intersection pretty well. It actually went through the intersection, and then there were two lanes at the end of the intersection. It chose the rightmost lane, which I would have done, as there's no traffic out here. So good job. Set speed 40 miles an hour. I've got that set for 5 miles over the speed limit, and the speed limit here is 35. Phantom braking right there. I'm not sure what happened. Again, phantom braking. So I do see a lot of improvements in driving since version 10.3, which is the initial version that I received when I entered the full self-driving beta test program. That version was back in October, I believe it was October 24th of 2021. We're coming up on a stoplight here, and it's stopping nicely. This is about the rate that I would stop at as well. And so from 10.3, there's an immediate upgrade to 10.3.1, which was to fix some issues that Tesla saw right away with the version that was released. So that took about a day. And then about a week and a half later, I received the upgrade to 10.4, 10.5, another week after that, I believe, and then 10.6.1 just this past week. And some of the improvements that Tesla notes on their website are related to how well the autopilot models situations that are coming up. So if we look at an intersection, for instance, with traffic that's entering or crossing the intersection, if it's a four-way stop situation or a right turn at a red light, it has improved the prediction factor that it sees with what it thinks is going to happen with the traffic, and then allows it to navigate better. So we're coming up on a right-hand turn. This will be an entrance onto the freeway, and so we have a green arrow here. The car stops at the green arrow, checks for traffic, even though none should be coming at that point. It's a little annoying because there is a vehicle that was right behind me at the intersection, and I'm sure they were kind of annoyed that I stopped at a green arrow turning right. So now we should be in the right lane to get on Business 53 for Hastings Way, and it's in the correct lane for that. all car driving right now. So I'm just monitoring driving. I've got my hand on the wheel in case I need to take over, but so far autopilot's been performing, I would say, about a 99% level. This corner I think is a little slower than I would take it. I did overshoot the turn just a little bit. It drifted into the lane before it made the lane change, but corrected. Put the turn signal on, made the lane change. It's making another lane change right now automatically. And so I've read comments from people who are still in the enrollment phase of full self-driving beta, the beta test program. And there's some frustration out there about how slow Tesla's been releasing the software. I'd say, based on my experience so far, if you are somebody who really wants to test software, who really kind of enjoys that cutting edge, giving feedback, and not expecting it to be like a perfect system, then this is just fine. I mean, it's been good. Would I use it for everyday work commutes? I turn it on just to collect data for the full self-driving beta test program, but honestly, would I prefer it over driving? I don't think I would at this point. I think it's a little sluggish. I would liken it to driving with a new driver. So somebody who is just learning how to drive a car, kind of a student driver level, and nothing against student drivers, we were all there once. But I think that the car, the way it performs, really is not at like a mature driver level. So for those that are waiting for full self-driving, you are missing out on some features, but you're also not missing out on something that's really not that useful unless you want to be somebody in a beta test program. So I did make the lane change to the left lane. We've got a turn lane here with arrows, and these will turn to a flashing yellow arrow in just a minute. And this is one of the limitations that I've discovered with this vehicle. So it actually will stop at an interchange appropriately. So it turned from a green arrow to a red arrow, and now it's a yellow arrow flashing. When the intersection is clear, it should proceed through the intersection. That's what I feel a normal driver would do. This will just kind of hang out and wait here, so I'm going to give it a little bit of gas to encourage it to go. Gas, acceleration, hit the accelerator pedal. It's cutting this corner really sharply. In fact, I almost ran up on that ridge. Now I'm off the accelerator, and the car is back on its own navigation. So I didn't have to disconnect the autopilot, but I did have to help it through the intersection. Again, in a busy scenario, we're not in a very busy community here in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, but there is traffic, and I do, I consider myself to be a considerate driver for the most part, and so I'm a little conscious about what others may feel when I'm driving on full self-driving, because the car really does awkward things. It will stop at intersections a little slowly. It'll take a while to get back up from that intersection. It'll kind of be an annoyance to cars that are behind you, like this truck right now. So it's completely slowing down at this intersection when it doesn't need to. The intersection's clearer. And I think some of the hesitation may be that car that passed. It thinks that it's getting into the lane, and they eventually did. So set speed again, 35 miles an hour, which is 5 over the speed limit here. And we are heading into the downtown area of Eau Claire. I've got the follow distance set to 2, which is not too close, but I like it here because the car behaves more like I would behave when I drive. It's not that I want to follow too closely or tailgate somebody, but when a car is accelerating, it takes a while for full self-driving to recognize that the car ahead of me is accelerating and then begin to accelerate. So like traffic flow will pick up to a 30 mile an hour. That's not good. We're gonna just disable that. Hit the report button. We did not want that to happen. All right. And so what I was saying is traffic flow, you know, will be going or moving, and the car will just be kind of taking its time. And I feel like, again, that's annoyance to people that are those people that are around me. So at this intersection, we'll be making a right turn. And that was a pretty sharp, abrupt turn. I would have done that more gradually. Turn through the intersection, car gets into the right lane as appropriate for the turn, accelerates to 35. So the truck behind me did move into the left turn lane, and my car wants to get into that left turn lane, so we're going to see what happens here. He slowed down, thankfully, to let me come in, which is very generous because that little stray that I had before, I'm sure, caused some uncertainty. He's probably wondering, what the heck? What's this guy doing? So up here on Lake Street, we're going to make a left turn. And again, this is all car. It's cutting this a little sharply. Just ran up in that curve, so I'm going to report that. And then we'll be making a right turn up here. We'll see how it does it with this bike lane. So that's good. It didn't cross over to the bike lane. Following a little close to the right. I would probably tend to the center line a little more, just because I'm more of a defensive driver and I don't know when somebody would suddenly open up a car door not looking for oncoming traffic. And at this point we are arrived at our destination. Still haven't really mastered the auto park feature on this car. I should probably play around with that a little bit, get used to it. Here we are. And so I wanted to do a quick video of the car wash feature that was added to Tesla cars in a recent software update. And what this basically does is allows you to set the car up to automatically roll through a car wash. If it's a car wash that's automated and you get out of the car, it leaves things unlocked. We're going to go ahead and set that up right here. Enter car wash mode. So you can see a list of things here that it does for us. And then we can enable free roll. You have to put your foot on the brake to enable free roll with the vehicle, but you can leave it in drive. So essentially shifts the car into neutral. It says vehicle remain in neutral and free rolling. Automatic shift to park when exiting vehicle disabled. It says down here, car will remain free rolling when you leave. I have the green arrow, so I'm going to hit free roll disable. And it is going to ask me to shift to drive, so I have to push the brake, shift it into drive, and then I can drive on. It automatically folded the mirrors and unfolded the mirrors for car wash mode. I would say that's a pretty handy feature.